Japanese martial arts dojos exist all over the world today. Many parents choose Japanese martial arts as their children's extracurricular activities so that they can learn good manners. However, it is not widely known that dojos have their own unique rules. This time, we will introduce some of the rules of Japanese dojos. The following 15 are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Interpretations may vary slightly depending on the dojo or style, but I think they are generally as follows. Dojo breaker refers to when a martial artist suddenly appears at a dojo that they don't belong to and challenges the school in a match. Dojo breakers were for testing one's skill, revenge for personal grudges, or disrespect against one's dojo. Dojo breaker winners could destroy the loser's signboard, hold it for ransom, or loot the dojo. Although it is an old-fashioned expression, anyone who enters a dojo by saying "tanomo" is recognized as a dojo breaker. In the past, a dojo that had its sign taken away was a great disgrace to the public, and as a result, it became impossible to operate and would lead directly to closure. So it was said that any dojo breaker should be sent back on a board as a warning, an analogy meaning that they should be unable to walk home on their own 2 feet with all their limbs intact. However, while there are cases where this was done as a test of skill, it has also been pointed out that the idea of a dojo being taken over is a fictional story. Challenging a dojo to a fight as a test of skill itself seems to be a culture that has now completely disappeared in Japan. When entering and leaving the dojo, bowing to the instructor and practice partners is a common custom in almost all Japanese martial arts. It is impossible to improve at martial arts by oneself, so being grateful to everyone, trainees, instructors, dojo owner, founder, dojo, is the foundation of the mindset for learning martial arts. Depending on the school, the bow may be directed towards a framed portrait of the founder or a dojo precept inscribed on it. Dojo-kun literally means the rules or philosophy of a dojo. A dojo is generally a training hall for martial arts. These are generally posted in the dojo as expected and prohibited items and rules for behavior. The dojo students recite them together before or after practice. Since they recite them at every practice, after about 3 months, they will be able to recite them fluently without the guidance of an instructor.
Does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, sensei! Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, sensei! Prepare! Ice! What do we study here? The way of this, sir! And what is that way? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir! I can't hear you! Strike first, strike hard, no mercy,
Dojo-kun differs for each martial art and each school. This is often done before or after practice. It takes about 1 to 2 minutes. It is a time to organize what you will learn in today's practice and what you have learned, and to be grateful for everything related to the dojo. During a rank promotion, you are judged on your mastery of the target katas for your rank, as well as efficiency in a sparring match with your dojo mates. When you are promoted to 5th Dan or above, depending on the martial art and style, your personality may also be subject to evaluation. I heard that all the 10th and 9th Dan teachers in Kendo have passed away, so 8th Dan is now the highest rank. Since there are no teachers left to judge higher ranks, 8th Dan remains the top level. At a dojo, the person who has been practicing there longer than you is your senior, and juniors need to respect their seniors regardless of their martial arts skills. This doesn't only apply within the dojo. For example, if a junior sees a senior in town, it is considered good manners for the junior to greet the senior in the same way as in the dojo. Even at drinking parties, if a senior's drink is almost gone, it is the junior's role to pour new drinks or order more. Even if the junior is younger than the senior and they are good friends, they are not allowed to treat each other like friends in the dojo. The master-disciple relationship requires even more care, and even if the teacher's words and actions are unreasonable, it is taboo to rebel or argue. However, some martial arts organizations, including Kodokan Judo, are making efforts to reconsider the avant-garde and excessive relationship between seniors and juniors. If there is any misconduct that goes against the dojo precepts, or if someone is involved in a fight without a legitimate reason, they may be sentenced to kinsoku. Until the period of kinsoku is over, they are not allowed to practice anymore and must spend their days reflecting on their actions. If someone is killed through martial arts, they will almost certainly be excommunicated. The word hamen also refers to being expelled from a group for misconduct in the world of the Yakuza. It is a great stigma for anyone who aspires to either path. Dojos within the same school allow students to train at other locations. However, some students from different dojos, who may feel superior, can create an unwelcoming atmosphere. As a result, those who have gained a certain level of confidence may leave their more supportive, friendly training environment in search of a challenge. However, although the training system still exists today, it seems that due to the times, it is rare for students to be harsh to others because they come from another dojo, as the dojo owner will stop them. In the Edo period, it was common for dojos to hang scrolls with the names Katori Daimyojin and Kashima Daimyojin written on them. In Japan, both have been worshipped as gods of battle since ancient times, but the culture of installing Shinto altars in dojos is said to have started in the Meiji period. Staff members rushed to the site after hearing rumors that a dojo built during the war at Kashima Jingu, which enshrines Kashima Daimyojin, is still being used as a kendo dojo. What kind of place is a dojo at a shrine dedicated to one of Japan's two great gods of war? Kashima Jingu Shrine is located on a vast site in a village surrounded by rice fields and canals. Dojo Gate. The dojo floor is currently under renovation, and construction vehicles and lumber are scattered around the premises. Behind the car is the entrance. Behind the dojo is the forest. I left Tokyo early in the morning, so I arrived quite early, and the dojo wasn't open yet, so I took photos from outside. It has a truly traditional dojo design and is very beautiful. There are vases placed at equal intervals under the floor, so that the sound of stepping on them echoes. The dojo's exterior is also beautiful. I envy the students who get to practice here. This is a fire prevention water tank that you often see at shrines and temples. These items at shrines and temples are often donated. The different colored dirt on the inside of the fence is the area for yabusame, a martial art in which archery is performed on horseback. I came into view a huge rock with a carving of a god riding on a giant catfish. This god is Kashima Daimyojin, who is displayed alongside a hanging scroll of Katori Daimyojin in many established dojos in Japan. Long ago in Japan, it was believed that a giant catfish lived deep underground and that its thrashing would cause earthquakes. Japan is one of the world's most earthquake-prone countries, and with the worst disasters causing tsunamis and fires, people turned to the military power of Katori Daimyojin and Kashima Daimyojin and prayed for the disaster to end. I'll explain the legend of this catfish and earthquakes in depth at some point, so if you're interested, please like and subscribe. Kashima Shrine is located in a vast forest, and there are many more things to see, but since the topic today is about the dojo, that's all for now about Kashima Shrine. At that time, in order to strengthen the imperial system, Japan adopted a religion called state Shinto, which is different from traditional Shinto and worships the emperor as a god, as a national policy. It was a time when people were the children of the emperor, and it was the duty of children to protect their parents. In light of this, around 1936, schools under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Education were required to install Shinto altars in their dojos. In 1936, the Ministry of Education issued a notice to schools under its jurisdiction, stating that Shinto altars must be installed in dojos, making the installation of Shinto altars mandatory in school dojos, which then spread to town dojos across the country. After Japan's defeat, GHQ imposed a ban on martial arts, citing their tendency to be linked to nationalism. The obligation to install Shinto altars was one reason for this, but it was also due to the existence of a government-led martial arts organization called the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai, which had brought together all martial arts in Japan for the purpose of boosting national prestige before and during the war. GHQ forced all school dojos to remove their kamidana, but when martial arts bans were lifted, many dojos reinstalled kamidana, as they had already become part of dojo culture before the ban was imposed. They can still be seen in modern dojos today. Some modern dojos have kamidana installed because they worship the emperor, but many are simply following old customs that have become obsolete. In response to the recent popularity of martial arts overseas, some dojos have removed their kamidana so that people of all religious faiths can learn without feeling confused. You must sit and seize a position until the instructor tells you to sit down. When the master or founder visits the dojo, all practice must stop and you must stand up to greet them. Private conversations are generally prohibited in the dojo, especially during basic practice, but it is often permitted for students to chat together within the bounds of common sense. This shows the ranking of students belonging to the dojo. From the top right, they are listed in the order of founder, dojo owner, instructor. After that, the order goes from 10th dan to shodan, and from first kyu to white belt. This is used as a greeting in dojos of various schools. Whenever a master, teacher, or senior calls out to you, you should reply with osu. Even if it is clear that the other person is wrong, no other reply is allowed. There is a strong theory that this was a greeting exchanged between students of the martial arts school and martial arts college, founded by the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai. There is a theory that it was originally a corrupted version of Ohayo gozaimasu, good morning, which was replaced with the kanji character osu, suppress and bear, and became osu, which means to suppress and endure. Generally, it is very rare for so-called mixed martial arts, boxing or kickboxing gyms to have such customs, and even if they do, they are very simplified. People who just want to get stronger quickly seem to join gyms where they don't have to follow old customs, and don't spend long hours on basic training. But there are also many cases where parents enroll their children in dojos as a result of their educational policy, with the aim of teaching them etiquette and martial arts as a culture. If you know of any dojo customs, such as "this is how it is at my dojo," or "there are these customs as well," we would appreciate it if you could share them in the comments section. Japan B is a channel that randomly shares information about lesser-known aspects of Japanese culture, spanning across various genres. When Japan entered the Meiji era, it actively adopted Western culture and aimed to leave Asia and join Europe, regarding the old and backward civilizations of Asia, as well as Japan's own traditional culture, as inferior. In the flow of this movement, Japanese martial arts once fell into decline. However, with Japan's victory in the First Sino-Japanese War, the ideology of enriching the country and strengthening the military gained momentum. As a result, the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai was established to gather and unify the various schools of Japanese martial arts. Japanese martial arts were revived once more. As Japan plunged into the Pacific War, the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai was placed under government control and began to strengthen its role in supporting the war regime. It was during this very time that a high-ranking member of the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai contributed an article to the organization's official publication, Butoku. From this article, we can clearly see the attempt to spread the influence of martial arts to all Japanese citizens. But what was the government's intention at the time? How were Japanese martial arts utilized under wartime conditions, and what was expected of them? It is widely known among martial arts enthusiasts overseas that the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai, originally founded to promote and honor martial arts, was dissolved by the GHQ after the war. However, what happened between the lines of that history remains largely unknown. The contributions in Butoku offer insight into why the organization came to be dissolved. For those interested in Japanese military history and the history of martial arts, this is a must-see. It is no exaggeration to say that Kano Jigoro, the founder of Kodokan Judo, is one of the most important figures in modern Japanese martial arts. Nearly all Japanese martial arts have adopted a rank system, and nearly all Japanese unarmed martial arts require the use of uniforms, both of which were invented by Kano. By removing dangerous techniques from jujutsu and minimizing the time lost due to long rest due to injury, it became possible to improve skills in a short period of time, and it became a subject studied in schools. Although judo is an elite martial art, what is less known is that in the early days, students competed in inter-style matches against wrestlers and boxers from overseas, and that Kano himself competed in inter-style matches against jujutsu practitioners. He is known as Mas Oyama, the founder of Kyokushinkai-kan, but he was the first to seek a path to mixed martial arts after the war. He was one of the first striking martial artists to adopt modern weight training. Many of the episodes in the manga based on Mas Oyama are fictional. He resonated with the ideas of General Ishihara, the mastermind behind the Manchurian Incident. He learned karate from Cho, who later became a leader of Koreans in Japan, and he had close ties with the bosses of the two major Korean Yakuza gangs in Japan. It is not widely known that Oyama looked up to Kimura Masahiko, who was widely regarded as the strongest fighter in actual combat, as his older brother, that he had connections with Kimura Masahiko's teacher, Ushijima Tatsukuma, and elders of various schools of karate, that he studied under Yamaguchi Gogen, the de facto founder of Hondo Goju-ryu Karate, that there was a feud between Kimura Masahiko and Rikidozan, who is said to be the father of Japanese professional wrestling, that he was the model for Ryu in the video game Street Fighter, and that Kimura Masahiko witnessed Oyama in actual combat.
The Dai Nippon Butoku Kai was founded to bring together modern Japanese martial arts, promote martial arts, preserve ancient martial arts, integrate techniques with other styles of competition, and honor martial artists. During the Pacific War, it came under government control, but after the war it was dissolved by GHQ, who deemed its nationalism dangerous. What was the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai that led martial arts to a position unparalleled in other countries and developed techniques to an unparalleled level? The Dai Nippon Butoku Kai awarded people who contributed greatly to martial arts. The lowest title is Renshi, but simply receiving the title of Renshi from the Dai Nippon Butoku Kai is proof that the person has first-rate skills in the martial art. The highest title is Hanshi. Some of the early Hanshi were real samurai just a few years before. We will introduce some of the Hanshi who possess top-class skills in each martial art, with a brief profile for each martial art.
He is in a photo with a lineup of distinguished figures representing the Japanese martial arts world at the time, including Kyokushin Karate founder Oyama, his master So, Kimura Masahiko's master Ushijima, and others. Sawai has an incredible martial arts background, with a 5th dan in judo and a 4th dan in kendo and iaido. In his prime, Sawai fought an old man who was once praised as the best master in China and was defeated as if he were a child. Since then, he trained under that man and brought the martial art back to Japan. At the time, Kyokushin karate was the most powerful brand in Japan, but Sawai's students who learned Chinese martial arts from China fought against top Kyokushin fighters in a match with their faces exposed. Among them was Matsui Shoke, the current head of the Matsui School of Kyokushin. The result was an unexpected development.